Yeah, still no Q&A for this.
Okay, welcome. I do believe that the recording has started and we hit start on the event. Welcome to an informational webinar for the Altadena Disaster Relief Small Business Loan Program. Starting with just a few housekeeping, we are going to be taking questions in the Q&A. So I would love for a participant to give a thumbs up or some kind of a reaction if you can see the Q&A where there's a little welcome message. And additionally, you will be muted and off screen for the duration of the webinar. But we will be taking questions and at the end or throughout the presentation, you may drop your question in the Q&A. And then at the end, we will respond to as many as we can. And if need be, we'll publish answers later and make sure that we can address any unanswered questions at a later time. But yeah. If we can't see the Q&A, then we'll turn on the chat and we'll use that. But I want to make sure that we can. So let me just say hi again in the Q&A just to see. And so the Q&A is a chat bubble that's at the top middle of your screen on the taskbar. And you should be able to post there. And there's a little bubble that says ask a question when you click in the taskbar. I think I made reactions available, but if anyone could react to let us know that it's working, that would be fabulous. Okay, good. I got a thumbs up from somebody. Thank you, Cole. Okay, great. I think it is working for all attendees. Great, great. Okay, then we'll go ahead and get started with some welcome and introductions from the staff at the Los Angeles uh, County Development Authority.
Good morning. My name is Joanne Eros Delgado, and I am the contract management at the Los Angeles County Development Authority. I'll be providing oversight of a team of 3, and my team, Jeffrey, Jenny, and Vanessa, are management analysts that will be responsible for conducting site visits after your application has gone under a basic eligibility review. Besides the site visits, our team will also be responsible for the execution of the loan agreement after the underwriting has been completed. And we will also be responsible for the distribution of the funds to the business owners. So again, welcome to the informational webinar, and we're eager to begin processing the loan agreement. So we'll move on with the actual informational webinar to assist you in moving forward. Thank you. Andrea?
Thanks so much, Joanne. Appreciate that. So we have just a very brief agenda today. We just went through some welcome and introductions. We're going to talk about an overview of the loan program, the eligibility criteria, and the online application process. So my name is Andrea Martinez, and I'm going to be doing most of the speaking today. I work for a nonprofit called Grow America. We are a contracted consultant with Los Angeles County Development Authority, helping them to administrate this loan program. We've been working with LACTA for many years and have done a lot of underwriting for many different loan programs. So lots of experience, and we're here to help you get through the application process and hopefully successfully submit and receive funding. So the next slide is going to show us an overview of some of the basic aspects of the loan program. It did open last week on Tuesday, May 6th. and it will be closing in a few weeks on Tuesday, June 3rd, at noon. The program was created in response to the federal declaration of disaster on January 7th, due to the Eaton fire and windstorms. And the goal of the fund is to provide working capital to businesses, small businesses that create and retain jobs. And there is a minimum job creation requirement that goes along with that. One full-time equivalent must be retained or created for every $75,000 of loan assistance. The definition of a full-time equivalent is 40 hours per week. So two part-times, that total up to 40 hours does count as a full-time equivalent. For that, also the retaining of your self-employment and your ownership as the owner in the business does also count for job retention. The applications will be processed on a first come, first served basis. So we do encourage those to submit as soon as possible, as soon as they can get all of the documentation together. You'll have a better chance of getting funded the sooner you submit. Okay, next slide. And so we wanted to discuss a little bit more details on the loan terms. The loan amount is up to $75,000. The eligible uses of funds are working capital. So working capital is defined as, operational expenses, day-to-day expenses. Could be things like rent or inventory, but a number of different expenses fall under working capital. The interest for the first 60 calendar months will be deferred, 0% interest rate for the first 5 years, and then the interest rate will be fixed at 3% for the remaining term of the loan, which would be from the 61st calendar month through the 180th month, for a total loan term of 15 years. So 5 years deferred payment and no interest accrual, and then a 10-year fully amortized loan at 3% fixed interest. The deferral, like I just explained, is that 60 months of no payments and no interest accrual. You may prepay the loan at any time. And so that is also to help with flexibility if you do want to repay sooner or repay, prior to or by the 60th month, you will not have paid any interest on the loan at all if you prepay before the interest accrual begins. Okay, next slide. Okay, we're going to dive a little bit more into the eligibility criteria now. There are a number of different requirements that you must meet to be eligible for the program. The first is that you must be open at the time of your application submittal. So applications are open now, so you need to be open now, open to the public at this time. Your business must be located within the unincorporated area of zip codes 91001 and 91104. And you also must occupy a physical storefront location within that unincorporated zip code area. The website and the landing page and the application question all have links to a map where you can enter your address and it will tell you right away if you're eligible or not based on your address of your business. You must also have been in operation for a minimum of 6 months at the time of application. So we will be looking for proof of operation through a number of different documents, one of which could be the business license, your lease agreement. We are also collecting. We are also looking for verification, of your business organizational documents, that you filed your fictitious business name or that you're in good standing with the Secretary of State. All of those places will show us how long you've been in business and when you were officially formed and started operations, which again must be a minimum of 6 months prior to the time of your application. So if today is the 13th of May, 6 months prior to now would be on or about November 13th of 2024. So we're looking that you've been in business on that date or before. And we're only accepting one application per legal entity. So that means per employer identification number, EIN number, or per social security number if you operate using your social security number. And LACTA also does reserve the right to limit the number of applications submitted per principal or business owner. We know that many owners own multiple businesses and they are eligible if they're in the area, but we do reserve the right to limit those, the number that go to the same owner. Okay, next slide, please. Great. And given the nature of the program, there is a disaster impact statement that is required as part of the eligibility. This is part of the application that you will fill out and submit online. You must show that your business was impacted by the disaster through a hardship statement. And we're also asking explanation of what has been done, to address the impacts of the disaster on your business, as well as describe how you feel the loan funds will help you to address the disaster impact. And these are written statements that you can do in your own words. To continue some of the eligibility criteria, we wanted to discuss what some of the underwriting criteria is, because it is a loan program. We are going to be checking your credit score, and we're looking for, good payment history, good management of credit, a minimum FICO score of 620. But this is on a case-by-case basis, and we will be looking at scores based on the content of the report, not just the score. And we'll take into account, extenuating circumstances. We are looking for financial stability, and we will be collecting 2023 business tax returns. If your business was in business during 2023 and filed a return, we do want to collect all pages of your business return, whether it's on your personal return as a Schedule C business or a corporate return filing a partnership 1065 or corporate 1120. And so in addition to that, we are going to be collecting the 2024 financial statements. We're looking for year-end financial statements, a balance sheet as of 12/31/2024, and income statements from January to December for 2024. We understand that most people have not filed their taxes and you were given an extension due to the disaster declaration. So we're not looking for the 24 returns. Although if you do have them, we will take them in lieu of the financial statements. But we are just looking for financial statements, balance sheet, and profit and loss statement for 2024. And we're also looking for the same thing for the interim period ending in the first quarter of 2025, which would be as of March 31st, 2025. So balance sheet and P&L for the first quarter of this year. And we'll be looking for some trends. We're trying to see, what happened pre and post disaster, and assessing financial feasibility of the business applicant and the owners for repaying the loan. Additionally, you must be in good standing and active with the Secretary of State. If you are incorporated or a partnership, a limited partnership or an LLC, you're required to file with the Secretary of State, and we'll be looking to make sure that your filing is up to date and active. You can check your business status at any time by going to the Secretary of State website. And additionally, we will be securing the loans with Uniform Commercial Code filing, UCC1 filing, will be required for all businesses. And so this is also a lien that's being put on all the blanket lien being put on all business assets. Pretty standard for small business lending. And we will be doing a little bit of analysis on if there are existing UCCs out there via the search on the Secretary of State website as well. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so moving on to ineligible business types. Like I mentioned, you must be have a physical location within the eligible unincorporated zip codes, which means that home-based businesses and online businesses are not eligible. That's probably the most common one that we'll see that unfortunately is not eligible. Additionally, businesses like street vendors and food trucks are not eligible. Um, Nightclubs, real estate holding companies, businesses obviously engaged in any illegal activity, these are all ineligible. Passive businesses like landlords and things like that are also not eligible. You have to have an operating business, um, as well as check cashing, liquor stores, cannabis shops, firearms retailers are all ineligible. There's a full list of all the ineligible businesses on the program website, altadenabizrelief.lacta.org. And most of the ineligible business types are consistent with the Small Business Administration loan program. So if you are not eligible for SBA lending already, then you won't be eligible for this program either. But we're using that as a standard. Okay, next slide. Okay, and now we're going to go over a little bit of the actual online application process. On your screen now is a screenshot of what the landing page for the online application looks like. It's located in SurveyMonkey Apply, and there you'll see a landing page that has a lot of information, mostly the same information that's also on the program website. But the way to apply is to click on that green button that you see on your screen on the right-hand side, and you'll be prompted to enter in your legal business name and start your application. And the next slide has a couple more details on exactly what you'll see. So there's the program link. It's ndc.smapply.io/prog again, Altadena And so there is a direct link to that website, the application portal from the website for the program, and it's been blasted out. If anyone needs it, we can send it, we can post it in the chat and everything. But that is the link to the application. And like I mentioned, you're going to see a landing page and then a large green button that says apply. Once you hit that green button, you are going to enter in your legal business name, and it's going to prompt you to create an account and register with your email address and create a login and a password. After you create your login and password, there'll be an automatic email that's sent to your email address to verify your email. So it is a two-step authentication process via your email. And the verification emails do come from an automated outbox, no reply at mail.smapply.net. So you will need to potentially search any spam or junk folders for that verification email. And there'll be a link in the email that you click, and then it will verify your email and allow you to continue with the application. So you'll be able to fill in information, but you will not be able to actually submit your application until you verify your email address. So you do need to follow that last step and verify your email address. Once you do verify your email address, you will also be receiving automatic updates and emails from the system. It will remind you, I think, every 5 days or so to submit your application if you have not done so. And there'll be other automatic emails that can come and communications from the system that will come out. So you want to make sure to verify the email address, again, to allow you to submit your application as well as receive the automatic email. Okay, next slide. Once you log in, you're going to see a number of application tasks, which are related to some of the required documents and the eligibility criteria. So the first thing you're going to see is the disaster relief loan application. This is a standard online application where you're going to enter in information regarding the business, yourself as the owner. The hardship statement is there, and some information on employees, etc. Once you type in all your information in that section, you will be able to, there's a number, I think there's 3 pages, and you'll be able to review your answers on all 3 pages before you submit. But you do need to complete that task and then hit submit to be able to finish it. And that is true for all of the tasks that you see here, this list. Each of these items is a task in the application portal, and you'll need to complete it and then hit submit after completing it. We're going to be collecting ownership information and some business characteristics. For the ownership information, we do need to know all of the owners that have 20% or more ownership of the business. And we need to collect at least 51% of the ownership in that form. So please do fill it out completely, even if you might only own, 25% or 40%. You need to fill it out for all owners, up to at least 51% of the ownership of the whole business. The next task is the 2023 federal business tax return. This is where you're going to upload a copy of your tax return. It does say if applicable, and in the system, it might be notated as optional. It's only optional if you were not in business in 2023. If you were in business, you need to upload the tax return, and it is not optional. Again, we do want to see all pages of the federal return, not just the summary page or 1 or 2 pages. We need all pages. Most enrolled agents and CPAs will be submitting your tax returns electronically, and they already have a PDF copy of your return. So if you do not already have a PDF copy, you should contact your tax preparer and ask them to email you a copy so that you can just upload it. It does get very tedious scanning pages, and we would prefer not to have a photograph of each separate page, but an entire PDF document with the tax return. Again, I think like 90% of all tax returns are submitted electronically now, which means they already are submitted in PDF format when they're created. So if you don't have an electronic version, I encourage you to reach out to your tax preparer, CPA, enrolled agent, and request that they email you a copy because they definitely have a copy of it as a PDF. The next item that you must upload that we kind of just discussed a second ago is that 2024 year-end profit and loss statement. And this is not optional. Everybody must submit this because you must have at least been in business since at least November of 2024. And so even if you only have a month or two on your year-end statement, we do want to see that year-end statement for 2024. And again, profit and loss statement is the same thing as an income statement. And we also want the accompanying balance sheet. So the balance sheet for 2024 year end should be as of 12/31/2024. We are also collecting year to date profit and loss statement and balance sheet for 2025. We would like to see the full first quarter from January to March 2025, as well as a balance sheet from 3/31, 2025. We are also collecting a business license, and this one also has an annotation if applicable and is potentially optional. Some businesses are not required to have a business license from the county. And in that case, this would not be applicable. But if your business is required to have a business license from the county, you must upload a copy of your business license. And then the last two tasks are some forms that you must fill out. Like I mentioned, we will be pulling personal credit. And so there is a credit authorization form. You must fill that out with your information so that we can legally pull your credit report, as well as the W-9 form, which is very standard form with your business information and your EIN number or your social security number that's related to your business. Those forms are needed to process the loan and to verify eligibility. And then at the very end, there is a disclaimer. You will certify some facts that are true about yourself and your business, and then electronically sign your application and submit it. The next slide shows what it looks like in the system. So when you're done, it will be very obvious because you'll have these green check marks going all the way down all the tasks. As you click in each one and start to fill it out, there's a little circle there where the green check mark is, and it'll show a halfway completed one when it's in progress or it's been worked on and saved. You may save each task, and you don't have to complete it all at once, and you can save it and continue. There's a button that does say save and continue, and you can work on each of the tasks separately at different times and save them. But each task must be marked as complete when you're done working on it and have uploaded all the information. And once you mark it as complete, it will change from the half circle to the check mark. And once you have all the green check marks, then it will have a button that will say submit. So just because all the check marks are green, it does not mean you've actually submitted. But all the check marks have to be green before you're able to submit. Additionally, you must complete all of the tasks before you can complete the disclaimer and submit. So the disclaimer will not show up as being able to complete until all of the other tasks are complete. And so, yes, this is again just an example of what it will look like once your application is 100% complete. And then you've submitted it. There'll be a green check mark there on the left-hand side that shows submitted. If it's not submitted, there'll still be a green button that says submit. And there's also going to be a gray button that says review. So you are able to review in completion all of your tasks before you submit. You don't have to, but you can. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we're at the end of our presentation portion of the webinar. And we will welcome any questions you have. Again, the Q&A chat box is open. It has a question mark and a bubble with a Q&A above it. I do see that somebody dropped like a little test question in there, but I don't actually see any other questions. Does anybody have any questions that they want to drop into the box? Okay, I see. Yeah, Rita, are you able to drop a question into the box?
I believe not. Let's see if we can potentially unmute her.
Yeah, let's try that.
Allow mic. Rita, if you could try coming off of mute.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Thank you, everyone. The Q&A is not available for us, and we tried accessing the chat, and it's still turned off for us. Not sure for those folks that are attending if you can put in a reaction. Perhaps you can confirm if you can access those chat or Q&A boxes.
And I've gone in and allowed the chat now, so we can also answer questions via the chat.
Chat is
Yeah.
accessible for us now, so hopefully folks can drop in their questions.
Great.
I had one just for general information, Andrea and Virginia. How will applicants be contacted via email or oh, well, that's the only method, right, for you folks to contact your applicants via email. If you can give the email address, the ending as to what it will be coming from, so folks can anticipate to look out for your emails.
Yeah, the email address is up on the screen. We will also be reaching out to people via phone, phone and email, given the information that they submit in the application. If and when we have questions or there's missing information, we will reach out via phone and email. Additionally, you will receive an automatic email from SurveyMonkey Apply once your application has been submitted, verifying submission of your application. Following submission of your application, as Joanne mentioned earlier, we're going to do some basic eligibility reviews, and then Joanne and her staff are going to actually be doing physical site visits. They've been walking the neighborhood and making sure that people are aware of the program, as well as verifying that they do have that brick and mortar location and that they are open and in business, as that is one of the main requirements of the program. So there will be, like I said, some back and forth potentially with the Grow America staff as we process your basic eligibility. And then you may see LACTA staff out there at your place of business visiting you, chatting with you. And then following that, we will enter the underwriting phase. We'll finish up the analysis of the business. But at that point, we will have determined that they are basically eligible and move to that underwriting phase. And so as long as it takes you, the business owner, to submit your application, we had some people do it in as quick as 2 days. I've seen people take many weeks to actually submit their application. So that portion is on you, how quickly you can submit. And again, the first come, first served nature of the program is important to keep in mind. But following that, we are committed to completing our eligibility reviews in, 2 to 5 business days at the max. And then I think at least once a week, LACTA staff is going out there to visit businesses. So the eligibility and site visit should take very quick. Again, I'd say maybe 5 business days, 7 business days at the max. And then we'll move to the underwriting phase, which could take up to 2 weeks, but we're trying to see how quickly we can get it done within 1 business week. So that you can receive, I believe there's going to be a conditional approval letter, and then you'll go into the closing phase with LACTA. So it can happen very quickly. I'd say probably 3 to 4 weeks at the quickest. And depending on how long it takes to submit the stuff, probably more than a month at the longest. But we're doing our best to be the most efficient that we can. We know there are a limited number of folks that are eligible, so we're dedicated to processing and closing the loans as quickly as possible.
I just want to piggyback on what Andrea was saying. LACDA also is prioritizing this program. So my staff is making it a priority to go out in the field and do those site visits so that we can quickly turn around and verify so that Grow America can move into their next stage of the underwriting. So we'll be consistently throughout the week going out there as we get the applications with the basic eligibility review forwarded to us. We just want it to continue moving because I know it's important to the businesses to try to receive the funds as promptly as possible. So we're trying to work with a very, very tight timeline to get those dollars out to you. So we have that commitment. Any other questions?
Okay, I don't, let's see, let me check again. I'm not really seeing any. But additional, again, information is available on the program website, which is there on your screen now. There is an FAQ section, frequently asked questions section. So we have tried to anticipate questions and provide answers and responses there. You may submit additional questions at any time to the email addresses listed on your screen. We're happy to help answer your questions and to help you complete the application. And I mean, we greatly appreciate your time. I don't think we need to drag it out if we don't have to. Linda, would you like to say any closing words?
I just, want to let folks know we are here for you. And rather than weed yourself out, submit your application and let's see what happens. We want to be as flexible as possible within our parameters that Andrea has outlined. So when in doubt, put your stuff in. Don't eliminate yourself. And we're trying to answer your questions to the degree that we can, but we understand that each business is very different, and just like we all have different personalities. So we're trying to get to yes rather than trying to get to no, but we still do need to meet the underwriting criteria. So best of luck to you all, and give us a call or send us an email if you have questions that were not answered here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for your attendance. We are going to go ahead and stop the recording, and it will be posted and emailed to everyone later after the fact. And I believe we can also post it to the website so anyone can view it. And we will be doing that in the next day or two, let's call it. Okay, thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.